Oh, guys, forget everything you thought you knew about fashion shows because Nigerians just turned culture into pure luxury once again. Hmm? This is not the Met Gala, guys. This is not Hollywood. This is Ojude Oba 2026. And honestly, the steez, elegance, and royal energy this year were on another level. From breathtaking aso-oke to majestic horse riders to rich cultural displays that looked straight out of a movie, you know. Ojude Oba 2026 proved once again why this is one of the most beautiful festivals in Africa. And this year felt even more emotional because many people gathered not just to, celebrate culture, but also to honor the legacy connected to the late Aujale of Ijebuland, Oba Sikiru Adetono. So in today's video, we're talking about the most unforgettable moments, the fashion that broke the internet, the royal entrances, the rich aunties and uncles that came prepared, and why the entire world is suddenly paying attention to Ojude Oba. Trust me, by the end of this video, you will understand why people say African culture is luxury. Okay? So now, for people outside Nigeria who may not fully understand what Ojude Oba is, like I always explain every time, let me quickly explain. Ojude Oba is a major cultural festival celebrated in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, Nigeria. The name literally means the king's four courts. The festival happens shortly after Eid celebrations, and it is a moment where different age groups, families, cultural groups, and descendants come together to pay respect to the Awujale, that's the traditional ruler of Ijebuland. But over the years, Ojude Oba has become much bigger than just paying homage to a king. It has become a global cultural event. Today, people travel from different countries just to witness the beauty of this celebration. And honestly, one thing that makes Ojude Oba so special is that it doesn't try to copy anybody. Like everything about it is deeply African. The fabrics, the music, the horse riding traditions, the colors, the confidence, the elegance, the authenticity. Oh my god, everything is just authentic. Okay? So guys, can we talk about the fashion for a second? Oh god. Because what exactly was happening this year? The men came dressed like kings, the women looked like walking works of art. And the amount of luxury fabrics that entered Ojude Oba 2026 needs to be studied. One thing I love about this festival is how people take traditional Nigerian fashion seriously. Nobody comes there to play. The agbadas were flowing like they were agbadaing. The gele styles, were perfectly sculpted. The aso-oke combinations were rich. I mean rich. Even the accessories looked expensive. And what makes it even more beautiful is that every outfit tells a story. Some outfits represented family heritage, some represented status, some represented royalty. And some people simply came to remind everybody that Nigerians know how to dress. Honestly, the attention to details this year was crazy. From customized walking sticks to matching family colors to perfectly coordinated jewelries. Everything looked intentional. Even the younger generation showed up heavily this year. You could see young Nigerians proudly embracing culture instead of running away from it like the initial time. And I'm not going to lie, seeing Gen Z mixed modern fashion with traditional Yoruba style actually looked so beautiful. This is exactly how culture stays alive. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest highlights of Ojude Oba, the horse riders. Every single year, the Balogun families come prepared, and this year, they absolutely shut everything down. The entrances looked like scenes from an epic African movie. The horses were decorated beautifully. The riders, they carried themselves like confidence. The crowd reactions alone told you how important this tradition is. You could feel pride in the atmosphere. You could feel history, you could feel legacy. Some riders looked like real life warriors from centuries ago, and the energy they brought was unmatched. People were screaming, phones were up, everything wanted to, be beautiful, and everybody wanted to also capture the moment. What makes this part even more powerful is that this tradition has been preserved for generations. In a world where many cultures, are slowly disappearing, seeing something this strong and this alive is, honestly beautiful. Now, once the pictures and videos from Ojude Oba hits social media or more, it is over. The internet completely lost it everywhere. Everybody suddenly become, interested in Yoruba culture. People from different countries, were, asking the same questions. Wait, this is Africa? And honestly, the reaction says a lot, because for years, Africa, has been shown through struggle and negativity. But festivals like Ojude Oba, reminds the world that Africa is also elegance, luxury, history, beauty, style, and deep cultural pride. Even fashion lovers across the world started comparing the looks to international fashion events. Yes, although it's different, but of course, you see how beautiful everybody is looking. Everybody just wants to, see what it looks like to be in Ojude Oba, festival. But beyond the fashion and social media hype, there's something deeper about Ojude Oba. And I think that's why people connect to it emotionally. This festival represents identity, it represents family, it represents community, and most importantly, it represents pride in where you come from. A lot of people spend years trying to fit into foreign standards, but Ojude Oba is one of those rare moments where Africans proudly celebrate themselves without seeking validation. Nobody is trying to be anyone else. People are simply embracing who they are. And honestly, that confidence is powerful. You can see grandparents, parents, and children all participating together. And that kind of cultural continuity is rare. And it's one of the reasons the festival keep, growing every year. This year's celebration also carried emotional weight for many people. There was a strong sense of reflection and respect surrounding the legacy of the late Awujale Oba Sikiru Adetono, whose influence on Ijebu land remains unforgettable. For decades, he represented leadership, tradition, and unity, and many people believe the global recognition Ojude Oba enjoys today is partly connected to the stability and cultural pride promoted during this reign. So while people celebrated, there was also gratitude for, heritage, gratitude for tradition, and gratitude for the generations who protected this cultural long before social media, made it popular. Now, one thing we cannot forget to notice this year is how some people appeared to Ojude Oba this year. Because at this point, some people have become almost inseparable from the modern image of Ojude Oba itself. And honestly, we have to start with the man many people now call the king of steez, Farooq Oreagba. Because somehow, every single time this man appears at Ojude Oba, he manages to look like the main character of an African blockbuster movie. And honestly, it's not even just about the outfit anymore. It's the aura, the confidence, the effortless tease, the way he carries traditional fashion like royalty without even trying too hard. Farouk has now become one of those people whose appearance alone can trend an entire event. From the sunglasses to the perfectly styled agbada to the horse riding moment, everything about his presence screams elegance. And what makes people love him even more is that he doesn't look forced, and it looks very natural. Like somebody deeply connected to the cultural, to the culture instead of, somebody simply dressing up for social media. And honestly, ever since his, picture went viral globally, Ojude Oba has received even more international attention because many people outside Nigeria first became curious about the festival after seeing Farooq Oreagba's iconic images online. At this point, once people hear Ojude Oba, one of the first faces they think about is Farooq Oreagba. And then there is the other person's appearance that everybody also waits for, and that is Akinfamino. One thing about Akinfamino is that he understands presentation, the composure, the styling, the attention to detail. Everything always look intentional, and that's one thing Ojudoba rewards heavily. Presence. You can wear expensive clothes, but if you do not carry yourself well, people will move on quickly. But people like Akinfamino, they know how to, command attention the moment they arrive. This year again, his appearance added that modern luxury vibe people now, associate with Ojude Oba. And honestly, seeing personalities like this embrace Yoruba culture proudly is part of why younger generations are becoming more interested in traditional events. And Sikira to Sindodo also came very prepared. For this year's Ojude Oba, she had two looks. This and the other one she wore with the rest of the Nollywood, actors who are from Ijebu. They decided to, have their outfits for this year. Also, Eniola Badmos came prepared. She also had two looks this year. Unlike last year, remember she wore an English attire to Ojude Oba last year, but this year she showed us she came prepared. She also had two looks, this and also the one she had with the rest of the Ijebu, the Nollywood actors. And also Adeni came, showing in his Agbada, and this is Princess Shile, Princess Ade Shile, and also K Bobo of the Big Brother Nigeria showed up in his own Agbada and also on a horse freestyling. Another beautiful thing about Ojude Oba 2026 was seeing how some Nollywood stars proudly showed up to represent their roots. And honestly, the actors and actresses from Ijebu did not disappoint at all this year. Several of them arrived in matching traditional outfits, looking elegant, coordinated, and deeply connected to the culture. You could immediately tell that this wasn't just another celebrity appearance for camera. This was pride in the way they dressed. And likes of Sekira to Sindodo, Mama Rainbow, Femi Branch, Dayo Amusa, Jide Awobano, um, and also Ijebu and some other people, so many of them, and they look so beautiful together in their outfits. At the end of the day, Ojude Oba 2026 was more than just a festival. It was a statement that African culture is alive, a statement that tradition can still look modern, elegant, and powerful. And most importantly, a reminder that nobody tells our stories better than us, right? Honestly, this year's Ojude Oba was unforgettable as usual, from the fashion to the horse riders to the energy. Everything felt magical. But I want to hear from you guys. What was your favorite moment from Ojude Oba 2026? which outfits, stood out to you the most? And do you think Ojude Oba is becoming one of the biggest cultural festivals in the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments, guys. I would really love to hear from you. Once again, guys, this is Esther of the Esther on Demand. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end. God bless you guys. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.